them is a left-hand food delivery, and the reason I like to switch the hands is because sometimes the dogs rely on a certain movement that us as handlers don't realize we're doing. So if you switch it up and use your micro skills to really think about your movements and just changing them often, it can be super helpful. So I'm only going to feed from my left hand today. Usually, because I use my right hand often, I want to just test myself and make sure that when I'm delivering food from the left hand, it doesn't change the behavior that my dog is giving at all. The other micro skill I'm going to focus on is eye contact. So I want my dog to actually give me eye contact before I give a cue. And I want to see what that looks like. Is she going to push more into the eye contact because of that? Now, sometimes I will give you a cue without eye contact, such as if the dog is facing away from me. There are behaviors that I want her to be able to do very easily without eye contact. But in a trick ovation session like this, I want to just experiment and see what that looks like with lots of eye contact and different movements. So I'm focusing on different movements, seeing what those look like and just flowing together. So I'm going to do a touch, which makes her raise up. So a hand target, nose to hand, where I ask her to touch and pop into that touch. I'm going to work on lift, which is just a stand from a sit or a down, and then I'll add in a few other behaviors as well. So the food is loaded in my left hand, and again, I'm only going to feed from my left. So before we start this session, if you're training along with me, make sure your food is split up into small pieces. Make sure you can deliver it. So the micro skills are, am I prepared to reinforce or deliver the reinforcement quickly and efficiently? So I have one little piece of food kind of like towards my finger so that I can very easily deliver it to the dog, and I have the food loaded. Sometimes I'm going to mark before and then reach for the treat, but right now I have the food already in my hand and my left hand, so I also like to mix that up. All right, so I'm going to just initiate this session with her by giving her a kissy noise, and that tells her that I'm now interacting with her versus the camera. So you'll get to see that often with my dogs when they do videos with me, that they know they're in a settle and they're not in work mode until I give that kissy noise. So, yep, there you go. She wasn't sure if that was really for her. And I'm just going to see if she'll offer a sit in front of me. She just checked my hand for treats. So I'm going to wait for eye contact before I ask for anything. And she's giving me eye contact here, so I'm going to say touch, yes, and left hand feed. So I like that little pop touch where she's not hitting me with her paws, and that's what I'm focused on. So if you're doing this with me, let's do 3 of those. Touch, 2, touch, 3. So there I caught myself wanting to switch to my right hand. I wanted to grab a treat with my right hand and feed her. So that's one of the things that the micro skills help us understand is, are we depending on a certain movement without realizing it? So that I found that interesting. So that was 3 touches. Let's go into a stand. If your dog knows a stand, you can just cue it. Lift. So I'm just going to ignore that. Just see if she's a little confused right now. See if she'll offer it, and if not, I will just do a reset. So let's just kind of do a little reset. Lift. Yes. And there I went to reach for the treat again with my right hand. So I'm going to just make sure I'm feeding only from my left hand. And she actually did check my hand for treats. So that's what these micro skills help me notice, is these little behaviors. So I want the eye contact first. So I'm going to go back to the SIT. I'm going to wait for eye contact. I'm going to keep my right hand behind my back so that I don't use it. Eye contact, sit. Eye contact, back to the lift. Lift. See how she went to my hand? Break. So that's something I would want to work on. I want to make sure that she can give me that behavior without walking towards the treats. So that tells me that's something to work on. My right hand is behind my back. Again, this is just to change things up. It's not a training purpose necessarily for the dog. It's to make sure that I haven't created habits that the dog is depending on. So I'm practicing just feeding from my left hand for this session. So I'm going to go back to the sit. I did not treat that lift, which is my stand, because she walked forward. So I'm going to just help her out and do that again. Eye contact first, which I'm telling the camera, I'm not telling her. That is not a cue to her. And then I'll give the command, sit. And something is different about my movement here. So you can see, lift, yes. I'm gonna just mark that really quickly because I like the way she hopped into it, even though she did move to my hand. Sit. Oh, this is so interesting, wait. So all these little things just tell me what to work on, and I want her to stay still. When I say lift, I want her to really just go into that lift. Lift, yes. So that's exactly what it should look like. And the only change there is that I had my hand up here in my body, so she wasn't depending on, or she wasn't moving towards the treats. But I should be able to hold my treats here without changing the behavior. Sit. So I'll try that again. Lift. Yes. Much better. I did not wait for the eye contact there. Sit. Eye contact. Lift. Break. So I didn't treat that one because she did angle herself towards the treats, which are in my left hand here. So I didn't want to reinforce that. I wanted to wait for her to be nice and straight and stay where she should be. Sit. Nice eye contact she's giving me. So then I'll give my cue. Lift. Yes. And I like that one because she stayed put. She's in the same spot that I left her in. Sit. Touch. Yes. Feeding from the left hand. I'm going to wait for eye contact before I give my next cue, which she's giving it to me already. Touch. Yes. Touch. So our micro skill here is always making sure we're ready to feed the dog. I'm still doing left hand feed. I'm going to break my treats up, make sure that I am prepared, and I'm going to still go back and forth between these two behaviors, just the touch, the stand. Well, really it's their behaviors. I'm asking for a sit as well, and the eye contact is offered. Yes. So left hand feed, eye contact, sit. Lift. Yes. Good. I want a little bit more eye contact there. Break. All done. So you can see all those little mistakes there, and that just is a lot of information, which is great. That's what I want from